同志们辛苦了。为人民活。
China unveils new weapons at huge military parade marking 80 years since the end of World War II. Russian and North Korean leaders flank President Xi at a historic moment as the trio meets publicly for the first time in show of unity. Google won't have to sell its Chrome browser but must share data with rivals in a big antitrust ruling. Good evening. You're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Chu. Today, Beijing held a grand military showdown at Tiananmen Square to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. President Xi Jinping said humanity is again faced with a choice of peace or war and urged nations to prevent historical tragedies from repeating, adding that China's rise is unstoppable. In the country's largest ever military parade, a mix of conventional weaponry and advanced technologies were unveiled, showcasing China's growing military power. Jamie Liu begins our coverage.
Amid applause and music, President Xi, also General Secretary of Communist Party of China Central Committee and Chairman of Central Military Commission, made his entrance. He was joined by 26 heads of state, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un by his sides. But no major Western leaders are attending. On the Tiananmen rostrum, donning a tunic suit, Xi greeted a crowd of more than 50,000 spectators. The celebrations opened with an 80-gun salute, followed by a flag-raising ceremony. Speaking on the podium, Xi said humanity is faced with a choice of peace or war. He stated that China is never intimidated by any bullies, while pledging the Chinese people will stick to a path of peaceful development and called for peace.
各个国家、各个民族，只有平等相待、和睦相处、守望相助，才能维护共同安全，消弭战争根源，不让历史悲剧重演。
Addressing the Chinese People's Liberation Army, Xi urged them to build itself into world-class forces and resolutely safeguard national sovereignty so that they can support national rejuvenation. Riding in an open-top limousine, the Chinese leader inspected troops, addressing them as comrades.
同志们好。
The military parade began with flag-guarding helicopters flying by. They shaped the number 80 in the sky to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of China's war with Japan in 1945. Next up were the marching groups and the battle flag teams. Then came the highly anticipated armament columns, spearheaded by tanks for ground assault. Next named aircraft carrier killer, the YJ-21 hypersonic missile was one of the highlights. Many weapons made their public debut, especially in the nuclear squad, including the DF-61 intercontinental ballistic missile and its new type liquid-fueled counterpart DF-5C, which has the entire globe under its strike range. On display were also new types of drones and anti-drone laser weapons. Making the finale appearance were advanced fighter jets, including the carrier-borne stealth fighter J-35. The 70-minute parade ended with the release of pigeons and balloons. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
On the sidelines of the parade, Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un sat down for formal talks at the Diaoyutai State Guest House. During the 2.5-hour meeting, Putin thanks Kim for sending courageous troops to join the fight against Ukraine, and Kim vowed to strengthen bilateral ties. On rare circumstances, they even share a limousine ride between events in Beijing. The pair earlier flanked President Xi at Tiananmen Square as the trio stood together publicly for the first time. It was seen as a defiant challenge to the U.S.-led world order, while U.S. President Donald Trump seemed not happy with his strongman friends. Quentin Yang has the story.
The defining image of Beijing's military showdown is not the parade of weapons, but the sight of Chinese, Russian, and North Korean leaders standing side by side in an unprecedented show of solidarity against the West. On Xi's right was a strong man who's waging Europe's bloodiest conflict since 1945, and on his left, a nation leader funneling troops and weapons to the battlefield. The deliberate display of unity is a pointed rebuke to Trump, who wrote on social media as the parade was underway, alleging them of conspiring against the United States. Trump also pointed out that Americans had suffered heavy losses in World War II and questioned if Xi will acknowledge that. Trump met with Putin in Alaska last month and expressed his will to meet with Kim again in near future, whilst the US-China summit is under preparation as well. Analysts are watching whether the trio may signal closer defense relations, which may be a blow to Trump, who has talked up his close relations with all three leaders and touted his peacemaking credentials. Meanwhile, many Chinese social media users posted comparisons between today's show of force in Beijing and the U.S. military's largest parade in decades, hosted by Trump over 2 months ago, mocking American parade as a showcase of relaxation. One user wrote on Weibo said that China's parade is just too handsome and is embarrassing the United States. Xi has staged more military parades than any Chinese leaders since Mao Zedong. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
At Tiananmen Square, over 50,000 spectators gathered for the Victory Day event, while many Beijing residents lined nearby streets, eager to catch a glimpse of the impressive display of China's might from afar. Back in Hong Kong, live streams of the event were shown in shopping malls and schools, with locals expressing feelings of pride and awe. Cheryl Yun reports.
Giant screens in a Taipo shopping mall broadcast the Beijing parade live, drawing shoppers to pause and witness the historic moment. A woman described the ceremony as powerful and magnificent. She shared memories of older family members who were harassed, suppressed, and even killed by Japanese forces during the war. Other countries wouldn't dare walk over us now, she added. Another resident turned his thoughts to the future, hoping to pass down this history to his grandchildren. Political parties in Hong Kong organized watch parties, allowing more residents to witness the military showcase in real time. Students also had opportunities to deepen their sense of patriotism. One student, overwhelmed by the efforts of past generations, was particularly moved by the release of 80,000 doves at the parade's conclusion, interpreting it as a symbol of global progress toward peace. Another student, a member of a uniformed group, admitted he was so excited he barely slept the night before. "I feel proud and protected living within China's borders," he said. The Education Bureau earlier encouraged all schools to host watch parties for the military parade, allowing students to join the nation in celebrating China's strength and resilience. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
As Chief Executive Zhang Li led a 360-strong delegation in Beijing, the SAR government also held a commemorative ceremony this morning, presided over by Acting Chief Executive Eric Chen. The ceremony took place at around 8 a.m. at City Hall's Memorial Garden, including flag raising and singing of the national anthem. Among those present were senior government officials such as Acting Financial Secretary Michael Wong and Acting Secretary for Justice Horace Chen. Also in attendance were members of the judiciary, veterans organizations, representatives from various sectors of society, and secondary school students. The police rifle squad fired a 10-gun salute as a tribute to those who sacrificed their lives during the War of Resistance against Japan. A 2-minute silence was observed. Before Chan laid a wreath to honor the fighters, and led all in bowing before the memorial shrine as a mark of respect to the fallen. The world's largest search engine, Google, will be required to share online search data with rivals and seize the exclusive contracts that cemented its market dominance, an American judge has ruled. However, the tech giant will not be forced to sell its Chrome browser or Android operating system, despite previously being found to illegally maintain a monopoly. Quentin Yang tells us more.
Tuesday's ruling by U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta no doubt represents a victory for Google, sending shares of parent company Alphabet soaring nearly 8%, but also means a blow to the U.S. government, falling far short of the most severe penalties it sought after the same court found Google illegally monopolized the search market last year. While sparing Google from a breakup, Judge Mehta imposed substantial new restrictions. The company is now barred from exclusive distribution deals for Google Search, Chrome, Google Assistant, and Gemini AI applications. This frees device makers like Apple and Samsung to preload or promote competing services. Most significantly, Google must provide rivals with certain search index and user interaction data, though notably not advertising data, and offer search syndication services to help them develop competitive products. An independent committee will monitor compliance for 6 years. In his 230-page ruling, Judge Mehta repeatedly cited the rapid development of artificial intelligence as a transformative factor that changed the course of this case. Despite this temporary win, Google still faces another major antitrust trial later this year over its advertising technology business. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Gold prices extended their record run as investors seek safe haven from the precious metal amid uncertainties and expectation that the U.S. Federal Reserve will begin cutting interest rates this month. Spot gold hit an all-time high of $3,546 during Asian trading this morning. Meanwhile, U.S. gold futures for December delivery also gained 0.3% to $3,602. In a related move, silver also reached a milestone, breaking above $40 per ounce for the first time since 2011 and marking a year-to-date gain of over 40%. The rally gained significant momentum after U.S. Fed Chair Jerome Powell struck a dovish tone at the Jackson Hole Symposium in late August, signaling increased openness to rate cuts amid concerns about the jobs market. This triggered a dramatic shift in market expectations, with international institutions revising their forecasts upward. Morgan Stanley has set its fourth-quarter gold target at $3,800 per ounce, while Union Bank of Switzerland expects prices to reach $3,700 by 2026. Let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down 153 points. Top active stocks of the day. Alibaba was down 60 cents. Tencent was down $2. Xiaomi was down $1.15, and Meituan was down 60 cents. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar. Euro 9.09, Japanese yen 52.49. Onto the weather now. Mainly fine apart from isolated showers. The minimum temperature will be about 28 degrees tomorrow morning. Very hot during the day. The maximum temperature will be around 34 degrees in the urban areas and a couple of degrees higher in the new territories. Persistently very hot in the following couple of days. A few showers on Saturday. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Chu. Thanks for watching. Good night.